Ducks. After you play a team, you get a really good judge of how good they are. That's a very good football team that we beat. I think we'll win a lot of games. Really want to thank our fans. I know a lot of them had playing issues and everything, and it was ugly at times, and they hung in there with us, and they were a big factor. Really appreciate our fans. Really, if you look at the game, we got off to a tough start. You got to give them credit. I think they had really good schemes early, made some big plays offensively, defensively, and special teams. At halftime, we came in, we made some adjustments. We really just talked about we need to win the line of scrimmage. And of course, our defense did a super job holding them just a few yards rushing in the second half. And then, of course, I felt like we were able to lean on them some in the second half, running the football. And and then the bottom line is we didn't play our best. They're a really good team. We got a lot of things that we can work on, that we can improve. You look at really the key plays of the game. I think in the fourth quarter when they had fourth and about a foot, and our defense stopped them. And then, of course, the fourth down and 3, where we're in a little naked seal, and Bo got outside, and he found a way to get the first down just by a little bit. I thought that was big. And of course, then we hit Seth down there. We got in field goal range, and we could kind of catch our breath. We didn't have a timeout, so there was a little bit of stress that went with that. And we just really wanted to give Seth one chance, to have a 50-50 ball. And Bo threw it up, underthrew it just a little bit. Seth tipped it to himself and made a big-time play. It was a really good win, and our locker room is really excited, real proud of those guys. Found a way to win, especially when we didn't play our best. But you got to give Oregon a lot of credit, for that. Questions?
Okay, again, raise your hand. We've got mics. We'll come to you. Remember to state your name and affiliation. We'll start here on the right, back towards the middle.
Brandon Marcello, 24/7 Sports. Gus, moments like that with Bo on 4th and 3, then obviously the touchdown pass. Did you see that in preseason, and it was things like that that made you really think this is your guy?
He has some savviness to him, there's no doubt. And of course, when the game's on the line, you got to make plays, and that's the one thing that he showed. In all fairness, it was his first start. He went against one of the better teams in the country in this kind of environment. He did some really good things, but when the game was on the line, he found a way to win the game, and I think that was real special for his first start.
Someone down here in the very front left.
Yeah, Mark Murphy from inside the Auburn Tigers. Can you talk about, after the first quarter, the defense stepping up and giving you a chance to win till offense got
they
going?
made some adjustments. They were hitting us with some little outside zones, and they creased us a couple times. Their quarterback's a really good player. They had a really good scheme, and then at halftime our defense made adjustments, and the big thing was stopping that run. And I think they only had a handful of yards in the second half, and that was really a good thing for us. And of course, we were able to get the ball a few more times on offense too in the second half.
I have a question in the very front far right.
Mike Ostrom, fishduck.com. You mentioned that second half shift, and it was significant. You point to conditioning. What is the big reason behind that?
Yeah, we talked about we need to win a line of scrimmage. We need to try to turn this game into a line of scrimmage game, and I think in the second half we were able to do that. That helped us win the game, and that was really important up front. And I thought our offensive line did a good job too. They were presenting a lot of different looks, showing some things they hadn't showed. They were playing Okie, and they were moving a lot, and they were mixing things up. Hats off to the coaches. I think they had a really good plan.
Back to your left again, Coach, in the front row.
Justin Ferguson, the Athletic. You mentioned the offensive line. What do you think the difference was for them in the second half? Because they looked like they were coming off the ball a lot better.
Well, we got a senior offensive line. They just told me halftime, Coach, let's run the football. Let's try to run over them, and we're ready. And so really that was our mindset, and we felt like we needed to. We had a couple of turnovers. Of course, that turnover in the red zone, and of course, then we got down to the 3-yard line. I called a bad play on first down, and we ended up having to kick a field goal. But really proud of our offensive line, and really Booby Whitlow. He ran hard inside. He had a really good night. Running the football against a good defense.
Any questions here in the middle?
Thomas Cluck, Babel.com. So obviously, first start, big stage for freshman Bo Nix. What was your message to him prior to the game and throughout the game that really tried to keep him calm and help him
I
play
told him
well?
before the game, hey man, there's going to be mistakes out there, but hey, you just keep plugging, man, and don't flinch, and just keep battling, and that's what he did. He didn't get down. He's a real positive guy, and he was positive with his teammates. He was positive with me, and I think that's a really good sign.
Okay, far left against the wall over here.
Hey Gus, Adam Ridberg with ESPN. What was this game like just for you, calling the plays, from beginning to end as you're making adjustments throughout?
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to get back doing it. I mean, there was some bad play calls out there tonight. I'll tell you that. You know, like I said, the one that I'd like back is that right after the turnover, you know, it's first and goal from the 3, and I think we lost a yard. But you know, hey, it's you know, I think we got the makings of a pretty good offense. It was good to you know, to see them out there and see our quarterback out there and our new offensive line, our receivers, and you know, it was good to get Eli Stowe back. He made a couple explosive plays, and you know, hopefully we'll get flashback in the next week or two, you know, and get our complete guys set and ready.
Coach Sheldon Haygood, WBRC TV out of Birmingham. You mentioned the gamble with Seth right there when you were in field goal range. Just take us through that, because that
Yeah.
you had enough points with the field goal.
Yeah. It was you know, I felt like we were in field goal range, but you know, at the same time, I just felt like we had a good chance, 50-50 ball, and you know, we talked about that in the end of game scenarios. Hey, if he's open, give him a chance where he can catch it. Nobody can catch it. If not, you know, throw it out of the end zone. But you know, it took the stress of having the field goal team go out there, and I kind of liked it.
Did you have a question? You're in the front, far right.
Gus, it looked in the second half like you almost kind of took Bo out of the game, just preferring to grind and let the defense take over. What was it about him at the end that allowed him to make those plays as a 19-year-old freshman?
Yeah, like I said, what really stands out to me probably, you know, is that 4th and 3 play. That, you know, they zoned it out. We had a little naked where we sealed the edge, and we had a guy in the flat, and we had a 7-cut, deep 7-cut, and he had a step or two on him. Then our X came across and they recovered. So it's one of those deals that you got to make a split decision. Could have threw the 7-cut and it would have had to be a perfect throw, and he found a way to, you know, and knowing where the sticks are. I mean, that's something sometimes you take for granted, but you know, it was a really close one, but he got it. And really, that was the play of the game, or we wouldn't have had anything afterwards. And then we ran smash, and then he threw a good ball to Seth over there on the sidelines that got us in field goal range. And you know, so I thought it was a good job of managing the clock. We didn't have any timeouts, and of course, you know, anytime you got a young quarterback and you're running out routes, and you know, you can't throw the ball under the sticks where the clock runs out. And we were trying to talk on the sideline, hey, we may have enough time to clock it. Our field goal team was ready. I think there was 16 seconds left, and you can't take a sack. You know, and those things that, you know, sometimes with older quarterback you take for granted, but you know, he handled himself really good, you know, in those moments with the game on the line.
And nothing will compare to kick 6, but where does this fit?
Yeah.
The Pantheon.
I'll tell you what, our players were about as excited as I've seen them in a long time, and our fans were just off the charts. And you know, like I said, it was ugly at times, and our fans just hung in there, and just really showed that Auburn spirit and you know, that Auburn toughness. And our guys found a way to win, and it was just great atmosphere. It was a big time win for us to get us off to a 1-0 start against one of the top teams in the country. And I think that'll give us momentum. Now, at the same time, the good thing is we won. There was a lot of things we got to correct. I mean, I think everybody saw that in all 3 phases. We got to clean some things up, and we'll do that. But it really is good to be 1-0, you know, against that team.
On the front row here towards your right.
Coach, how about a weapon like Joey Gatewood at the goal line, him staying engaged?
We brought back a play we used to run in 2010 with Cam, and he looked pretty good going over the top with it, you know. And so real proud of Joey. You know, he's available. We'll see. You know, I think you know, that he could have a role. You know, as the season goes, he's got a lot of good things he can bring to the table too.
Far left against the wall.
Gus, why so much trust late in the game to Seth? You know,
Yeah, you know, he'd been kind of coached. They're one-on-one. Give me a chance. Give me a chance. You know, he had a great attitude about it, and you know, he was right. And of course, you know, I think on that last drive, we hit him on a stop route finally, and the guy was man. He came back out, and you know, on the ball that, you know, he on that play, he kind of bailed out. You know, we'd run like a vertical, I think 2 plays before that, and Eli Stowe's running down the middle of the field. He's on the outside, but you know, just got a lot of trust in him, and you know, he's growing up. You know, he's a sophomore now, and that's a big time play that'll help him, you know, the rest of his career.
Front right, front row, far right.
Coach, you mentioned some things on defense surprised you a bit, some different looks. Anything on offense, something you hadn't seen before?
Their offense,
yeah.
I think they had a couple of wrinkles that we hadn't seen. They did a really good job with their screen game. That's really what stood out to me. They threw a little screen, they got the thing out there, they hit some big plays with that. That quarterback's really good, I'll tell you that. He's really special, I think, and they did a good job with their outside zone. That was probably the biggest thing. They had the outside zone, they had the complements with the tight end and the flat on the weak side, and did a good job with that.
Front row again, towards the left.
Yeah, Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com. Gus, is Bo Nix most comfortable in that 2-minute offense?
He was pretty comfortable tonight, of course, we had 3rd and 1, and we had, we could have handed it, and of course, he threw it down the field, threw a good ball, I think we dropped it, but he's got some gunslinger in him, there's no doubt, but I think that's a good thing. But there's a lot of things that, we can look at film and coach off of and all that, but he looked really comfortable with the game on the line.
Any other questions for Coach? Okay, congratulations.
Thank you all.